Chett Hopper, 6898 Alderwood Drive, Millington, Tennessee. I said here tonight I had something else that I was really going to talk about, but I was amazed at how it took 17 rounds of questions to figure out how to save $130,000 by handing work to somebody else in the city, but it took 72 seconds to hand Bass Pro another $3 million. I'm just having trouble sorting it all out. I don't understand. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought there was a question. I don't understand how we talk about the mayor having to hold a crime summit today because I answered the phone calls of the kids that were shot and ripped in half with AK-47s over the weekend, and we're not worried about the 263 officer positions that are vacated at all. We're not worried about their health care. I was in that meeting today, and it was pretty much a, I'll sum it up for the people that weren't there this morning. Our underwriters are bigger than your underwriters. No, our underwriters are bigger than your underwriters. Well, I think we need to talk about it some more. That's what happened today. I was there for the whole meeting. So what I'm trying to figure out is, do we want to invest in the city or not? If not, you guys can't get voted out of office. Just go ahead and tell us, yeah, that's what we want to do and be done with it. We'll quit coming out here fighting every week. We love giving money to Bass Pro. We love bailing out, who's our family friend with the airlines? Pinnacle. We love bailing them out. But it would just be the end of the earth if we had to give $100,000 in overtime to light, gas, and water for people who live here, just in case they had to work on a Saturday. That took 19 rounds of debate. Come on, man. $67 million to the Raleigh Springs Mall, a guy that's climbing up a light pole to restore your power when the power goes out, can't make a little bit of overtime. We got too many workers that like gas and water. Bet we wouldn't have too many workers if your power was out. I bet it wouldn't. I know Councilman Brown knows. He's shaking his head. Of course that's true. We got too many firemen until there's a fire. You got too many police until somebody's bank gets robbed or their husband gets killed or their house gets robbed. You got too many. They're just waiting on standby. They sit around in a squad car and sleep in a honey hole. But you sure want them to be there if somebody kicked in the door on your family and started threatening them and taking your things. That's not about efficiency. Those are about emergencies. You think you're not going to pay overtime if there's a storm, whether you got too many or too few light, gas, and water workers? I don't know why we keep making it so difficult. It's not hard. If your house is on fire, you want someone to put it out. In order for that to happen, it has to be staffed properly. Those people have to be taken care of. If you're being robbed and someone kicks in your door, even if they manage to get all your stuff, you want justice. You want the people caught. The criminals are on to the fact that the cops are dwindling. Why are we having a crime summit this morning? Was it because old ladies were getting their purses snatched? No. It's because we had 12 shootings in the last 4 days. I took the phone calls. One lady was with her husband driving his car down the street to go home. She got shot in the neck through the car window just because it would be fun to shoot around Scott Street, and died at the Med. Yeah, I took that phone call. Guess what other phone call I took? I took the one where the 7-year-old special needs child got ripped in half by an AK-47 in her own house by her father. I wish I could sit around and balance spreadsheets and profit and loss statements and figure out if something was just a regular depreciation or if it was funded depreciation, which really we owe that to ourselves. But the people aren't smart enough to figure that out, so we'll just call it a debt that we have to pay. Yeah, I'm good at math. I can make math do anything. Round it up, round it down. Make it to the third power. Put some of those little squiggly lines and letters in it so that it's not transparent. But I tell you what I do know. I do know it doesn't matter how much. You could donate the entire city's payroll next year to pilot programs. But if people are getting shot in the streets, nobody's going to come out here. Give them all you want. Give them 50-year tax breaks. It won't matter when the CEO of that company is taking a tour of a new building and his daughter gets raped in the back because there's no cops. I don't understand why it's hard to process. I don't understand why you don't want a safe city. I made the point last week. Forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I'm speaking to double the size of the crowd I'm normally speaking to. I'm just getting a little worked up. I mean, half of y'all are gone by this time. So I'll repeat my analogy from last time just so it sinks into the people who weren't here. What you've decided to do by not funding the pension properly is the exact same thing as if you had, and I'll make it real slow and real simple, it's if you had your money in a bank and the bank got robbed. And then that bank came to you and said, guess what? Your money got robbed, so we're going to need you to replace it all plus 24%. So we can stay in business. That's what you're doing. Would you give it to them? Or would you switch banks? Oh, good. Councilman Moore sitting here. I used him last time. Same thing, Mr. Hedgepeth. Somebody comes up to you on the street and they rob you. They take your wallet. They hold you at gunpoint and take your wallet. 3 days later, they come back to you and said, hey, man, this wallet is kind of wore out. I'm going to need you to go get a new one so I can rob you Thursday and get a better one. Would you go buy that guy a wallet? Would you stand for that? That's what you're asking the citizens that work for the city to do. Their money was robbed, not yours. You're the bank robbers in the story, in case the analogy was lost on anybody. We didn't underfund it. All we did was show up to work every day. But now we're responsible for paying ourselves back because the bank robbers didn't spend it right. Yeah, it sounds real stupid when you put it like that, but you know what? That's just layman. That's how it is. I would love to put it all on the mayor, but he's never here either. But you guys had to vote it through. Oh, Mayor Warden, what a nice surprise. I'm glad you're here. Maybe it was your wallet that they stole. They wouldn't have to come back and get a new one because it would be in good shape. But it's just stupid, and everybody knows that that is not what they would stand for. Mr. Conrad, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't go buy a new wallet so the guy that robbed you next time could have a better one. It's all dollars and cents until it's your loved ones that are dying. But I tell you what, since we're all wanting to be part of the collective, I tell you what, everybody, hand over your health care. You sign it up, I'll sign up. Hand it over. Hand over your entire family's health care to the tune where you're just going to go out, buy your own. You won't have to have any sort of subsidies, anything like that. You guys going to do that for the good of the city? I think I lost Mr. Ford. I don't know. But anybody going to do it? Anybody going to sign that sheet? Anybody going to forego their family's health care plan to help bail the city out? I figure if we got to do it, and we didn't cause the problem, you guys should at least buy in on it a little bit. You're the cause of the problem. Yeah, I know, I'm a big oafy guy. I got on a hat. I got on shorts in the middle of the city council meeting. But I went to college. I graduated with honors. You don't have to be able to pass self-paced calculus to know that this is a crappy thing to do. It's just not good people skills. So when you call 911, just like with light, gas, and water, you got to spend overtime. You got too many linemen out there. You got too many 911 operators when you make a phone call. On night shift, they probably don't answer 35, 40 calls a night, and they work 8 hours. One person could do that. You're going to get rid of all the operators in the 911 center on the night shift for the fire department? But what if there's a fire? Yeah, that's exactly the point. Light, gas, and water just isn't a corporate business. They're an emergency response crew. They have to be there in case of, just like car insurance. I would love not to give Liberty Mutual my money every month, but you kind of got to in case you run over something. You got to pay these guys whether they work a full 8 hours or not because they're going to work 24 straight when your power goes out during the next lightning storm. Come on. I refuse to believe that behind all those $1,000 suits and ties, there's not some common sense and a heart somewhere. I refuse to believe it. I just don't. I don't know whose agenda it is. I don't know who's pushing the buttons. But taking away retirees' health care is